Fucking stupid rags. Dummy casts. Silly bands.
Hello everyone, it's really good to be back. We are here for the second algorithm question. This video will be really quite simple, understandable, and fast, I would say, because on the previous one we explained a lot of different things, concepts, right? How to get in to the Hackerrank website, how to open, how to set up. But here we started just solving, and it will be really quick and fast. I hope you will enjoy it. Let's get started. Hello guys, we are landed on the page. If you haven't watched the first video, let me quickly tell you how to find this question. You need to go algorithm pages, and then you will see this UI. Okay, and at the moment we are on this simple array sum question, and as you see here, just we solved the first one. Okay, you need to click on here. What you see on the left part, you have the description. On the right part, you have the editor to put your solutions and then submit it. Okay, but as you see here, just main concept of this serial, right? As a language, there are many different options except Apex. So we want to just solve it in Apex language. So we want to solve it with Apex language. Okay. Rather than seeing this editor, I would like to exit full screen view, and guys, just focus on this description. For each of us, its first step is understanding. Later on, you will focus on designing and then coding. If you do not understand it clearly, it is not possible to code it properly, right? That's why the first section is just focus on, get deep in understanding, try make sure that you understood each part. That's why let's read from scratch and try to understand it, the concept of this question. It tells us, given an array of integers, find the sum of its elements. For example, if the array includes 1, 2, 3, okay, as a result, what you need to return is 6, right? Sum of those three elements. Okay, that's the main idea. Let's continue reading. Complete the array, simple array sum function in the editor below. It must return the sum of the array elements as an integer. This point is important because it tells us that data type is integer, not string or anything else, right? If you, for instance, if your method gets string, then it will not be working, right? It is important to understand what your method is getting and then what is returning. Simple array sum has the following parameters. It will get one parameter as an array of integers. It is important. And it tells us the input format. Okay, how would it be? The first line contains an integer n denoting the size of the array. The second line contains n space separated integers representing the array's element. Guys, it describes exactly this section, sample input section. The first line refers to the size of the array, which is 6, and the second line is basically the elements of this array. As you count, there are 6 different elements, and they should be comma separated values and with the data type of integer. As you know that if you put this one into the string, so that would be not integer, right? That would be string. So make sure that you will define it as integer. Also here you have output format, says that print the sum of the array's elements as a single integer. As you see here, we have 31, which is the sum of those 6 different elements. What you need to loop over the array and calculate the sum of each element and return it. As an explanation, we print the sum of the array's elements. As you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and 11. Then the result should be 31. Okay, I hope you understood it. And just one more thing. Yes, one more thing to consider. as you see here, there is this section constraints. Guys, it tells us the limits of our method. Okay, says that the n, which is one element of the array, should be between 0 and 1000. In this method, as it is simple array sum, we will not consider this, but in the forthcoming steps, if you have some constraints, for example, the value should be less than 10, for example, or it could be anything, and that limitation would be described under this constraints, right? Okay, after this explanation, we can switch to VS Code to write our method. If it is really the very first video that you are watching, on the previous one, guys, we created this, I would say, project Hackerrank challenge, and under it, under classes section, we created one class, and also we placed our very first method here. And the methodology that we will follow is just building inside of this method, right? Putting each algorithm question here as a method section, and then under this scripts apex folder, we have this hackerrank.apex, which is anonymous console that we can run our methods here in the VS Code. So we will run it, and then to compile it, we will use this hackerrank.apex part, and we will run basically our method here to check whether it is working or not. Okay, let me simply explain this one again. We have placed this method here just to get a hint, right? If you go downside of this one and just Java 8 is selected here, the editor gives us the method main structure, right? It is public static int simple array sum gets a list, right? And you can simply copy this one and you can paste it here. Then we can arrange it according to our need. Okay. As you see, it is public static int. This will be here integer, and here also it is integer. Guys, name is simple array sum, and it takes one list as described in the definition. I put that let's say that it will be list of ages, right? And I put here just age list. What we need to do, okay, first of all, to be able to compute the sum of these elements, first of all, we need to define one variable. We will call it sum, right? Define a sum variable, loop over the list of elements here under this age list, and update the sum by adding each element of the array. We will loop over this list, and we update our sum variable by adding each element of the list, and we will return the sum. And as it is simple, really simple array sum, and that would be the all 4 different points to follow. In the working experience, I would say we have in the task written under user story, we have technical approach. I would say that those 4 points would fit really this technical approach part, because our steps to make this sort of algorithm or system running would be defined under technical approach by technical lead. And in this case, what we need to follow is just following those steps. So I just listed them down, which could be really technical approach here. So what we need to do and define a sum variable. Okay, let's integer sum, and first of all, let's assign 0. Okay, it shouldn't be null because we will just update it. It should be with value, and it could be at the beginning just 0. And after that, okay, this step is done, guys. After that, we need to loop over the list of elements. What we can do, we have for each method, if you just type for, you would have several options. Okay, you have this for each loop, for it is classical for, and different options, but we will use this for each method, and it brings the syntax, right? Type means the type of each element in the array list, which is integer here. We need to put it here, integer, and variable. That could be anything. That could be anything. You can put, for example, as it is age list, each element of this list is age, right? And as we are looping it, we are visiting each element of the list. That's why I put that as a name age, because each one is age. And after here, the syntax is important. List or set. Okay, we have a list. We need to put the name of our list. Okay, we are having, as you see here, somehow error, right? Because this method here, we have a return type, and this method should return something, and in this case it should be integer, and that's why I need to return something here, and error disappeared. But we should put something inside of the for. That's why we have a problem here. Okay, guys, after writing this for loop, what we need to do, okay, we will loop over this array list and we will visit each element. Okay, as description says, update the sum by adding each element to the of the array. How we can do it? Okay, we just put sum, right, which is at the moment 0. We will say that sum equal sum plus what is age. And we can also write it shorter, like sum plus equal age. This is shorter version of writing this. As I explained, like in previous video, if you do not know really, what this public is, what this static is, and what happens if we erase this static part, and what is the difference of the method with like static keyword and without static keyword, and how to like name your method, and what is parameters. If you ask those questions while watching this video, please go back to the first video and you will understand it, because I explained that. Okay. Okay, let me tell you how it is working. I also explained that like how the compiler reads this, for example, line, okay? How it is reading and then assigning. If you have those questions still, just go back to the first video. But here, just to give you a proper hint here, compiler is reading, right section first and then assigning its value to the left. So at the first, imagine that we have 0, right? And then we are visiting the very first element. So on the left part, that would be, let me tell you, 0 first, and 0 plus, let's say the first element is 1, okay? What it is doing, it is reading from the right part, right? And it computes here just 1 plus 0 is 1, and then assigning its value to the left part. So at the end of the first loop, our sum will be not 0, but what? 1. Okay. For the second, let me tell you the second one. Okay. For the second loop, as we have here as a sum 1, and it will be 1 plus, right? What is the second element? Let's say it is 2, right? So it will read the right section, 1 plus 2, it will be 3, then it will assign it over 1. So the new value would be not 1, but sum will equal to 3, right? Sum of 1 and 2. And the third one, let's say that as we have 3, it will be 3 plus, let's say that the next element is 5, right? So what will be the sum? Sum will be the sum of 3 and 5. So we will have 8. So I think you got the understanding of it, okay? With each element, we are finding the element, and then we are adding this on top of the sum, okay? You will continue like this. So, okay. Let me erase this part. Now we completed our method, and as a last point, return the sum. We are returning the sum. Okay, it is time to check, and let's keep them. Okay, guys, first of all, you need to save it. If you do not want to just remind yourself saving this, there is this option under file, autosave. You can click this, and it is saved already. But to be able to check our method structure under this anonymous code, this console, you need to deploy it. You need to deploy your changes to the source org here, defined here. So like by this way, you send your method structure, okay, to your org, and by that way you can go and run some methods. If you do not push your changes to the org, you will get an error as like I can't find what you are looking for. Okay, it's important to just deploy it first. Then, okay, it is the leftovers from the previous method. Okay, what we need to do, guys, let's check the method structure quickly. Okay, you need to get an you need to send one array list to this method, right? Let's copy the name of the method. As it is static, we can reach this method by the class name. That's important. It is what we really emphasized on the previous video. Okay, paste it, and once again just copy the class name and then put it here. Okay, and as you see, we need to send a parameter here. I have here created one age list, right? One, let's send only 3 parameters, and one, as you see here, 3, and as a result, we need to have 6 right here. Okay, I will send this one to the method, and guys, as there is this return type that refers this method is returning something. Okay, to be able to check whether this method is working, we need to store what this method returns, right? That's why I just I just create another variable to store what this method returns. I put just as name return sum. Okay, and what we need to do, just let's system this one debug to check what it returns. Copy this one, paste it, and paste it here. Okay, perfect. It is time to run it. Okay, let's debug it. Okay, as you see, our class structure has deployed, and like after trying to deploy it, if you have an error, just try to solve it, because otherwise it is not deployed, right? You cannot find them. Okay, it is time to run this part. You pick here and then you press Command Shift and P, and you need to just click on Execute Anonymous Apex with currently selected text. Okay, click on it. Okay, one moment, I have an error. Okay, guys, like I checked the syntax. It is important to also, if you have some problems, feel free to read the documentations. Okay, I will quickly finish this one. I got an here just syntax error. Okay, put hit list and try to press Command Shift and P and run it. Okay, we successful. As you see here, the result is successful. And let me show you here what's returned. Okay, guys, as you see, it tells us like what compiler read so far, and here this debug statement, debug line, and as you see here, return sum is just 6, and it should be 6. So the method is working. It is the way of doing this. I hope you really liked it, and it is that simple, guys. We will continue on the next video, just putting another third question under this section. I hope you really liked it, and see you guys for the next videos. Take care.